Donald Trump is declaring victory. 26-0 tonight, turning numerous tight races into big and easy wins. Overall, for last 4 years, 98.4% on endorsements. Looks like a fantastic evening of all wins. That's right. Donald Trump is even taking credit for having endorsed Democrats. It's quite brilliant and it's quite funny. And, with all the insanity that's happening around the country and around the world, it's good to have some levity, I suppose. Trump celebrates victory for all the primary candidates after sarcastically backing Democrats and his under fire protege, Matt Gaetz. But, my friends, while we had many elections last night, there was a special election, and many people are saying it is really, really good for Democrats and apocalyptic for Republicans. I don't buy it, but I don't care. Look, if you're coming out of the gate right now and you're saying Republicans got it in the bag, you are wrong. Everything changed over the past few years. And that being said, everybody coming out and being like, whoa, in an R+3 district, a Democrat won. Bad news, right? No, it's a special election. Now, there's bad news for Republicans in that Democrats are motivated by the Roe v. Wade stuff, probably. But there's also something interesting here. Republicans are making gains among blue-collar workers, Latino voters. This R+3 district, while it is bad, an R+3 district went Democrat in a special election. It's a special election. What people are saying is that you need Trump to come out and get involved, and he wasn't involved here. So it didn't motivate Republicans, which is bad for Republicans. But it's also a majority white district. And the data is showing us that Republicans are winning among Latino voters. Like, that's why the Rio Grande Valley, South Texas, went Republican. That's where the Republicans' base lies. Working class people, not educated upstate white folk that the Democrats have been chasing after for 6+ years and have been making tremendous gains with. Now, we've got some demographic data, which is going to shock many people and probably really piss off alt-right people. But for anybody else who doesn't really care about racial demographics, the only thing they need to be concerned about is voting patterns and how the Republican Party adapts. But first, let's talk about Donald Trump endorsing Democrats and then getting to add that to his number of successful endorsements. I think it's kind of silly, but it's funny nonetheless. Donald Trump celebrated Tuesday evening the fact that all of the candidates he endorsed, including, I knew he was going to do this, including the Democrats he gave a cheeky backing to, won their primary elections. Looking like a fantastic evening of all wins. Great candidates, Trump wrote on Truth Social. His tongue-in-cheek Truth Social post alluded to his previously sarcastic backing of some Democrats on the ballot, but also included real wins, including embattled Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, who won his primary. Trump has issued a flurry of endorsements for candidates in the 2022 midterms, but the midterm season. But the Tuesday election was the first time the former president threw his weight in just, albeit behind, Democratic candidates. I hold on. Now, we don't know that for sure. I think any sane assessment would say that's the case, but that's still an opinion. Seriously, all you can really say is Donald Trump endorsed Democrats. If you want to add context like some Democrats think they're legitimate, some Democrats think they're not, let me tell you this. There was one lady, Yulin Neo, probably pronouncing her name wrong. I'm not trying to. She's running as a Democrat against Dan Goldman. She lost. And she actually stated, she tweeted out that Donald Trump's endorsement was real. And people were like, what? Why would Trump do this? And she said, he said it to stop the far left. Trump really did say that. Interesting, huh? Donald Trump said that they're moderate. They'll make more concessions with Republicans. I mean, look, you can joke that is not a real endorsement or whatever, because he didn't make some passing, snide comments in these endorsements. But there's a strong point there. Donald Trump doesn't want the far left to win. Or does he? I don't think so. And it's true. These moderate establishment types are more likely to make concessions with Republicans. And so she points this out, treating Trump's endorsement as legit. She lost anyway. One of the Democrats who Trump saw Trump's sarcastic backing was Dan Goldman. It is my great honor to strongly endorse him. I do this not because of the fact that he headed up the impeachment committee and lost, but because he was honorable, fair, and highly intelligent. I don't think Trump is being serious, but I got to tell you, if you can't read the man's mind, saying it's sarcastic is an opinion. Because Donald Trump could be like, no, I really meant it. Maybe. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think any sane person would. But what do you do if you can't read someone's mind? This is the funny thing. Like, I tweet things all the time because, like, I'm fairly moderate on a lot of issues. And it's funny because during, like, the pandemic, I was saying things like, I don't care about the vaccine. Talk to your doctor. If your doctor thinks it's right for you, then, take your doctor's advice. And I tweeted to this woman, I said, good thing you got vaccinated, double vaxxed. Otherwise, your long COVID would be way worse. That's all I said. And I get responses from these bot accounts and from people like criticizing me as if I said the opposite. That's the problem here. Donald Trump, sure, we have every reason to believe that he's being sarcastic. But dude, if he says it, he says it. What more can you say? We know he doesn't want the far left to win. Sure. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Democrat Pat Ryan wins bellwether special election in New York's Hudson Valley. And boy, are the pollsters reeling. This is let me show you this. Pat Ryan. This is New York's 19th congressional district. Representative Pat Ryan elect. He just won. This is an R+3. You see this? This is a Republican district. R+3. If we're supposed to be looking at a red wave come November, this should have been R+10 in this election. Instead, it went Democrat by, I think, 3 points or so. I'm not sure. So R+3 means it leans Republican about 3 points. The Democrats won. Apocalyptic. Political election projections on Twitter says this is a disaster for the Republican Party. These results in New York 19 are not representative of a red wave year. At this point, we have to be seriously contending with the fact that this will be a neutral or even blue-leaning midterm, and the House is a toss-up. Yes, maybe. But you know what? These are special elections, man. Special elections are not general elections, which I'll get to in a second. I don't buy it that we are looking at an apocalyptically bad midterm season. The data suggests it should still be leaning Republican, but this is bad news for Republicans. There's a lot to break down, though. Let's break it down. Politico says Democrat Pat Ryan wins bellwether special election in New York's Hudson Valley. They say Ryan, the Ulster County executive, led Republican Mark Molinaro with 51% of the vote when the Associated Press called the race shortly after midnight. The district is closely divided. President Joe Biden carried it by fewer than 2 points in 2020. And that's what we're looking at right now. Now, hold on there a minute. This is interesting. Joe Biden wins this by about 2 points. They're now saying that this dude won by about 2 points. Am I supposed to cry about that? It does suggest that 2020 may be repeated. So what does that mean? Republicans made major gains, but are they going to get enough to win the House? Here's what it's looking like right now. Again, special election, but based on what we're seeing here and with the polls, it may be that Republicans win just enough to take the House, but not enough to do anything else. So I'm not a pollster. I'm not a data analyst. I don't know what's going to happen. But I have been saying from the get-go, while the data keeps suggesting a red wave or red tsunami, if you think that you've won, you will lose. Because I'm not stupid enough to come back and be like, Republicans are going to win, because I did that in 2018, and boy, was I naive. I was looking at all the data, saying good news for Republicans. I was looking at the culture war issues, and I was like, wow. But you know what? While I can certainly see issues in the mainstream press, what you can't see is how regular people react to it, how Democrats and normies are reacting to the news. And it's funny because you can look among the people the red pill, the people who are waking up to what's going on and be like, look at this. A lot of people are now coming out and they're saying, they oppose the Democrats. But the Democrats aren't sitting on their hands. We can criticize them, but I think the smartest, the best move right now is to say this. 1, Donald Trump's endorsement they all swept. That's good news. The special election, Trump wasn't involved in. So that may be indicative of a Republican still winning. Don't know. But you should be looking at the story and saying, like, look, if you're a Democrat, you should be saying y'all can win if you rally the vote. And if you're a Republican, you should be going out and saying it's not over. And Democrats might actually take this, which would be historically, let's just say, offbeat. Because typically in the first term, the midterms in a president's first term, you get the other party switching, taking over the House. I still think that's likely the case, but who knows, man? I'm not a pollster. I can't see the future. Ryan's television ads hammered on the need to elect a representative who would fight for abortion rights in the wake of Roe v. Wade. That worked. Let me show you something. After the Roe v. Wade decision, the polls, the generic ballot between Republican and Democrats tightened, and now it's a dead heat. Now, some people might say, we look at the data. When the Democrats are up 5 in the generic ballot, they lose. Seriously, when the polls show that people are 5 points up for Democrats, Democrats lose the House. So right now, yeah, it's looking like Republicans are up 0.2% in aggregate with real clear politics. And that should suggest Democrats are going to lose seriously. But my friends, everything changed. People are moving out of blue areas. They're fleeing California. They're moving to Texas. We can't predict exactly what will happen. In a swing district that is tracked as R+3, the Democrat won. Now, there's a lot of people saying a lot of things. Interactive poll says, in what's shaping up to be a clean sweep in Florida, 15 of Trump's 15 candidates won. In 2022, Trump's endorsement record is 92%. In 2018, it was 58%. Now, this is something. I think this matters more. In 2018, Republicans lost. They lost the House. And Trump's endorsement record was 58%. In 2020, Republicans lost the House, but made major gains. And Trump's endorsement record was 77. You see, this suggests to me that with Donald Trump entering the fray, this time around, things will be different. Trump's endorsement record for 2022 is 92%. If we're looking at Republicans getting crushed, making gains in 2020, and now where we are with Trump's endorsement record, 92%, sounds to me like Republicans are going to win. Because with Trump's endorsement success, you're seeing more and more over the past couple of years. Like, granted, it's only two other elections. You're seeing Republicans gain more seats in the House. I think that's good news. And I want to point this out. Well, right now, you got these people saying, like, I can't believe that an R+3 went Democrat. Oh, the Republicans are going to lose. I give you June 14th, 2022, Texas Tribune. Republicans flip U.S. House seat in South Texas, historically a Democratic stronghold. Okay. Let me just tell you, my friends. When this happened, everyone, oh, red wave. Whoa, this proves everything. No, it doesn't. It's a special election. It's a special election that Republicans were motivated to vote in. Right now, in the special election in New York, Democrats were motivated to vote in. Times, they are a-changin'. Demographics, they are a-changin'. The one thing I can't say, Democrats nominate established candidates, gain new traction on abortion. Facts. I'm not a big fan of the Washington Post, but they're right here. The establishment won. The progressives lost. Nikki Fried lost to Christ over here. This is Charlie Crist. Won the Democratic nomination for governor of Florida against Nikki Fried. The progressives, they ain't doing too well. Donald Trump endorsed some establishment players. They're the ones who are winning. It's fascinating to me. The challenge of politics is that, one, I understand that people have different views on how things should be, and it's an opinion statement. What am I supposed to say? When someone's like, I think we should distribute wealth in this way, I'm like, okay, opinion statement, whatever. Like, what am I going to say? Your opinions are wrong. Yeah, probably. I don't know, whatever. They think my opinions are wrong. There are fact statements. I think that we should print more money. And it's like, okay, well, that will have consequences. We know what the consequences are. We know what happens when you have uncontrolled printing of money. And progressives are saying things like, no, debt spending. And it's like, debt spending will just destroy the economy. They don't care. They say things that make no sense, right? They're like, right now we got a big story that Biden's going to cancel $10,000 in student debt. My friends, this is the end of this country. This country can't survive this way. Now, there will be something here because humans survive and culture, humans. I'm just saying it's going to get worse. We've come to the point where politicians are like, if you vote for me, I'll give you free money. Well, okay. People are going to vote for you then. That's where we're headed. So the system will decay. It will fall apart. Crime will get worse. The dollar will get devalued. Your savings will get, and then eventually the system will just buckle under itself. It can't be sustained this way. And that's the issue I take mostly with the left. Their policy positions don't make a whole lot of sense. Their opinions, fine, I guess. You can try and figure out how systems can work, but, Anyway, here's where we are. Times they're changing, okay? Democrats, the establishment's winning. The far left lost. That's good news all around. Look, I think the Democrats are crooked as they come, but I got no problem seeing the creepo weirdo cults losing, and maybe this will stop. We got Carrie Lake, she won. We got Joe Kent, he won. We got, Hageman. In the Republican primary, the Trump candidates are winning. This says to me it's good news for Republicans coming in November. Moving forward, though, let me show you some of this stuff. David Giglio says, if the GOP and their consultants still can't figure this out, the party is headed towards permanent minority status. Stop worrying about losing white suburban voters. They are a shrinking portion of the electorate. Embrace populism and the party will win like never before. In this image, posted by David Giglio, race and ethnic profile for total U.S. and under age 16 populations. In 2000, the white population was 69.1. In 2019, the white population is 60.1, a drop of 10 points total, not relative. If you're doing relative, we're looking at about 13%. But a relative drop of 13%, a total drop of 9.1 in the total U.S. population. What demographic expanded the most? Latinos. The black population increased in the past decade by about 0.4. Latinos are up about 6 points. Now, here's the best part. The under age 16 population. In 2000, under 16 was 60.8. Oh, you're going to love this one. The under 16, 60.8%. 19 years later, the total U.S. population of white people is 60.1. Fascinating. It's lower than the total under age 16 population. Okay, this is quite simple, my friends. Right now, in 2019, the under age 16 white population is 49.95. Let's do the math and see where we had. Now, things can change, but let's just extrapolate and see what we can project. 2019. So we're looking at 2038. In 2038, the white population in total should probably be about 49%. If we just go off of these numbers. Why? Because people who are under age 16 will be older. They're going to be, we're going to have them at 35 years old in the population. The white population will be substantially smaller. You can take a look right now. The 2000, the Latino population under 16 was 17%. Okay, about 1.3 shy of the 2019 numbers of total Latino population, but I think it's simple to understand. Young people grow up and then vote. A lot of people, they live in this world of, I'll call it solid state politics instead of emergent politics. Solid state politics are people who just think there is a static people in this country, and that's it. And you got to convince them to vote one way or another. Wrong. The Democrats get this, and that's why they go for schools. What you want to do right now, if you want to win elections, you want to be targeting 16-year-olds. You want to be sharing your values. That's why Turning Point USA is so important. They're successful because they're targeting young people with their ideology. The left hates it. Take a look at this. 2019, and we're in 2022, mind you, but in 2019, 25% of the under age 16 population was 25.8% was Latino. Here's the big news. Republicans are winning with Latino voters. That's why in South Texas they won. They're losing with white voters. But here's the good news. If Republicans can start going after a multi-ethnic coalition, blue collar workers and populism, you're going to win. The white population is shrinking. Democrats overwhelmingly win among white voters, which is why and look at this. New York 19 is 85% white, R+3. So what? That's not where Republicans are winning. Republicans are winning among a coalition. It's fascinating. Republicans should be going for populism, America first, and they're going to win. Now, I'm sure a bunch of, like white supremacist types are going to cry when they see these numbers. I could care less. What I care about is American values. And here's the good news. This 49.95, this 25.8, these people, conservative, more conservative. I think the future is going to be more conservative for one simple reason. The Democrats are running on Roe v. Wade. The Democrats won. Look at this. They're winning on abortion. This dude, this guy, Ryan in Ulster, was running on Roe v. Wade. Look at this. Fight for abortion rights. Let them have it. Congratulations. You take a look at look at this. Washington Post. The Democrats gain new traction on abortion. Congratulations. You know what this means? These are the people who are advocating for terminating their children. So let's take a look at the Latino population expansion and the white population expansion right now for under age 16. In the past 16, 19 years or whatever, Democrats have been advocating to abort your kids. There's also been an increase in sterilizing your own kids. 2019's under age 16 population substantially more likely to be conservative because conservatives, be they Latino, black, or white, they're more likely to have kids than liberals and progressives. That means this under age 16 population, it's fairly mixed right now. You look at the Pew data. But moving forward, you are going to see that you're going to get more conservatives. Democrats aborting their own children, they are dependent upon schools. With Republicans going for school choice, Arizona's doing it, Florida's heading in that direction. The Democrats' ability to indoctrinate children will fail, and then you give it another 20 years after that, and there you go. My prediction is by the time I am 60 or 70 years old, talking about 40 years, this country is going to be staunchly conservative. The joke we say is that in 20 years, the Republican Party is going to be a bunch of transgender communists, and the Democratic Party is going to be metaverse AI. You know, people who've uploaded themselves to the network. I kid. It's all about child rearing trends. You want to win elections? Have kids. Instill your values in your kids. Don't let your kids go to these schools. Homeschool your kids. Build culture. You know what I love the most? And I've been harping on this because we got a song coming out this Friday. But it's all it is. It's like the promo we put out for the new song. It's called Only Ever Wanted. It's on Timcast Records. You can find it on YouTube right now. The first single we're doing under our official label. And the video we put out is kind of like rock, maybe emo. I don't know. But the song itself isn't. It's funny because like the finale of the song gets emo, but the song itself, not. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't really care. What I care about is I recognize that the establishment culture hates all of us. So I'm not going to sit here and try and figure out how to pander to the establishment. You know what I mean? They're going to hate you no matter what you do. They're going to call you a bigot, a racist, a liar, cringe, all of those things. You just got to do your thing. You got to raise your kids with your values. You got to paint a picture that you think is good. You got to develop the skills, make stuff, and then market it and try and convince people that it's good. Well, I should say, make good stuff and then spread the word. I'll tell you this, man. I really have been really inspired, and my resolve has never been stronger. We put up this promo for the song Only Ever Wanted, which we're releasing, and I am kind of trying to just shout it out, you know what I mean? And on Instagram, 130,000 views on the promo, or 140 maybe, and it's overwhelmingly positive responses. People being like, wow, this is like really well made and stuff like that. A lot of high profile major label people have hit me up and they're like, dude, really amazing stuff. But on Twitter, it's salt and anger and all this cringe and all these lefties. They're all angry. Ooh, you know why they're angry? I'll tell you why they're angry. Because the Daily Wire is making movies. Oh no, they're infringing on Hollywood. Guess what? We are putting out stuff on par with like major labels. And that's a disruptive force. When these kids grow up, you know what we're going to be doing? We're going to be making content. And they're going to grow up hearing this stuff because you, the parents, aren't going to let them watch this garbage content. You're going to have them watch The Daily Wire. Chip Chilla, I think, is The Daily Wire's new kids show. They're going to grow up watching that stuff. They're going to be leaving Hollywood. Daily Wire just hired a Disney executive to be their chief marketing officer. A lot of people got mad. I'm like, are you nuts? This means that Disney guy works for the Daily Wire now. The CEO of the Daily Wire, co-CEO, he goes to church on Sundays. You see where this is headed? This is why they're freaking out. They cannot allow us to have these cultural successes. So, my friends, the night is always darkest before the dawn. But we check out Cast Castle on timcast.com. We got to work on the audio. We are just doers. We are people who make stuff. We got 2 episodes up, the promo episode introduction to the show, and we're moving towards turning it into a vlog, a sitcom with a vlog element into it. And we've got a massively positive response so far. People really loved the first episode, the first official episode called The Game. And you know what? Bro, haters always going to hate. Haters have hated on everything. Let me teach you a lesson real quick and tell you why you got to keep standing up for what you believe in no matter what they say. Resist the trends, resistance to flow. Stand up, push back against the current and say no. Skateboarding was garbage in the early 90s. Famous story about, I'm not gonna drag anybody's names into it, but there's a famous pro skater, one of the most famous in the world right now, and he wanted to quit. He's like, there's no money. What am I supposed to do? Just be homeless and sleep in a hovel with a couple of my buddies? And another, one of the most famous pros said, bro, stick with it, man. Times will change. Both of these men are now worth tens of millions of dollars. I presume tens of millions. Because skateboarding was dorky and you were considered a loser and everyone made fun of you. But these people said, I don't care what you think. I do what I'm going to do. They said, I am going to build this space out. What we get from the left is conformity. Them saying, I just need to do what they tell me to do. Now, we don't play that game because we are leaders who say, this is the way it should be, and I will stand up and fight for it. You got to build that out. You got to resist those who tell you to fall in line and conform. Right now, we are working on building content and culture, and we got a large battle ahead of us. Dan Bongino's, he co-founded Parallel Economy. We use it for timcast.com. That means censorship-resistant financial transactions. Public Square, an app that shows you businesses that believe in American values. The Daily Wire, they started off doing, they're doing documentaries and movies. We're jumping into over at Timcast. We're doing some documentaries. We got one coming out, I believe maybe like a month and a half or 2 months. We'll see. We might want to do an extended marketing thing for it, so we might wait. But I really love to get it out maybe before the midterms. We'll see if we can. And then we've got music. We got one song so far. We're going to start putting out a lot of music. We're going to be expanding rapidly the music portion of this company because we're just going to build culture. And you know what? The Daily Wire, they made Terror on the Prairie. And it's not a big budget production, but it's really well made. They also made the documentary, What is a Woman? Tremendous success. We've got one song coming out under Timcast Records, our independent label, but we're going to be signing other bands. We're going to be producing a ton of music from all different genres. It's not all political. We're just going to start doing it. We're going to create that space because we have the funding to do it. And I will tell you this. You know why we're going to win? Because you've got music artists. They get canceled. Their lives get destroyed. So they desperately beg the machine, please don't cast me out. We're going to create that space where I say, quite simply, if you want to write a song and these companies are going to cancel you for opinions, we'll carry you if you got good music. That's simple. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all then.